Merry Christmas! Sports Frenzy 2.0, the weekend edition. We're taping here on the 22nd of December. This will hit Christmas morning. What a wonderful package for you to open.
That's right. Sports Frenzy in a box.
Hopefully your wife is hot and she'll be impressed with our package.
Wow. And you have to wait a whole year for another Festivus before you can air your grievance about that.
So, of course, as we've talked about with the holidays, and it's just been a really pathetic month for us. We've had some really terrible crap happen. So we're playing catch up. I mentioned last week that we have a review of Steel Panther coming. I did hint at how great it was, but we have to actually now go through and break down the whole thing now that Dave is back here in the fold this week.
Yep. And as always, he's the maestro, Kevin Crane.
And, of course, he's the Conquistador, Dave Height.
Steel Panther. Wow.
Yep. At the old Egyptian, or the old National Center in the Egyptian room at the Murat.
Yep.
In Indianapolis.
This was such a fun show, but wrong on every level possible, which made it perfect for us.
Oh, I had a blast. Is exactly what I needed because, again, we lost a couple shows due to COVID.
Yep.
In November, we had this one lined up, and we were hoping this would come through. This would happen. It did.
And it was beautiful in all its spandex and neon-colored glory.
Yeah, we spent a couple hours beforehand at the World of Beer. Had a great time. Great place to check out if you're ever in downtown Indy. But yeah, this was far exceeded my. I had lofty expectations. I had heard so many great things about Steel Panther, and this was even better than I'd hoped.
They put on a phenomenal show. The banter with the crowd.
The jokes are so wrong.
The banter between the band themselves was awesome.
Yes, and there are a lot of people that say it's a comedy act. Is it an actual music act?
Yes,
it's
both.
All of it. It's all of it.
Everything.
Yes.
Yes, it's kind of a farce of the hair metal genre, but it embraces it at the same time. And it's an homage to it.
Right. Like I said, the greatest double bill we would ever see if it ever happened would be Tenacious D and Steel Panther.
That would be phenomenal.
Oh, my God. That would be so great. But, yes, this was just fun beyond belief. And because we are explicit, we can go through the set list.
Yes, we can. And pretty much what you think it's about, it is.
Yep.
So.
Start off with Pussy Whipped, Going in the Back Door. And then, of course, one that Dave pointed out to me.
Just like Tiger Woods. Talking about spreading your seed all over the neighborhood, filling in the divots. Watch out for your wife with the 9-iron. Oh,
Asian Hooker, which I personally thought was phenomenal.
That was great. And there were a couple of young Asian ladies in the crowd that they brought up on stage to dance during this one.
One looked like she was enjoying herself. The other one looked like
horrified
she was,
beyond belief.
What's her name? Ping Shui, the hostage, the tennis player in China.
The one girl was just kind of petrified being up there. The other girl was really into being up there.
And then Poontang Boomerang, which is awesome. Eyes of a Panther is great. And then
one of the greatest guitar solos I think we've seen.
Satchel. Satchel proved this band is not a joke. They actually do play their own instruments. They do sing. Now, they used to be, in their earlier incarnation, one of them, they used to be a Van Halen cover band. You can tell that from the vocals.
Yes.
Because he still does the howl, the David Lee Roth howl from the 70s and the 80s better than David Lee Roth can do now. Yeah.
But no, the guitar solo is great by Satchel because he's playing his thing, just going off, and then he goes behind the drum kit. And then he starts doing the riffs on all these different songs and hitting the bass with his foot in time, matching it up perfectly. And damned if he didn't nail Eruption.
Yep. But he did about 3 or 4. He had Metallica in there. He had snippets from 3 or 4 great classic songs in there.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That proved to me at that point that they're funny, but they take it seriously.
They take their music seriously.
Then they did their Christmas song, the stocking song. And then Girl from Oklahoma.
Oh, that poor girl.
Then you got 17 girls in a row.
And they called up any female in the audience who wanted to go up on stage to dance. And the stage was full. And there were a couple of girls who were really hanging all over the guys, taking tops off. Yes, there was flesh shown.
Yes. Somebody did drop a bra at some point. Then we go back to Girl from Oklahoma. They had the one girl come up, and I still don't understand that relationship.
No, because it was very
almost
odd.
Too cozy.
Yeah.
It just didn't seem right. Something was weird.
It was almost like a plant type person in the audience.
Right. Then, of course, they wrapped it up with Party All Day, Fuck All Night, which is an awesome song.
Yep.
Community Property, another one you referenced to me before the show. And then finally, my personal favorite, Death to All But Metal. As you mentioned, they rip apart all the stupid pretender bands from the 90s and the 2000s.
And then the encore, the great and glorious Glory Hole.
And I still wanted to hear Fuck 2020. I know you did. I know. But I mentioned last week, I said we were going to do the whole set list breakdown this week, but I did mention everybody last week. 3.5 Frenzies.
Yes, hands down.
Yep.
So enjoyable. They were a fun band. They enjoy being on stage together. They enjoy interacting with the crowd. They love what they do.
And I told Dave I went out and bought 4 of their 5 albums. If you have a copy of All You Can Eat, email Sports Frenzy so I can get a hold of it. I've got everything else. I do not have the live from Lexi's mom's basement or garage one. I don't have that.
Wasn't it her bedroom?
I think it's garage.
That's probably garage.
And of course, Lexi's not in the band anymore because they're doing the whole tryouts for the bass player.
And so now they're trying to get a new bass player. So,
and I will say this: you and I will dispute this. I thought Sin, S-I-I-N, as the opening act wasn't terrible. You didn't seem to like them.
I did not care for the first half of their show, but they definitely picked it up the second half.
And we agree, the lead singer had zero charisma.
None
he actually
whatsoever.
Did not act like he wanted to be there at all. The rest of the band was solid, competent. Drummer had some energy.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Dio, the cover song at the end, awesome.
Yep, they nailed it beautifully.
Yep. I mean, anything off the soundtrack to heavy metal. Come on.
You can't go wrong.
So, we're getting to the end of the year. Duh, maestro. Good to see you can read a calendar properly. But that means for the first time ever, because Sports Frenzy has not been able to turn the calendar with you kids, we're getting through some of these year-end lists. We're going to create some of our own year-end lists coming up in the next month or two. Yep. We're going to talk about our top 5 albums of the year, top 5 songs, top 5 movies, top 5 shows. But I dug up a list that I thought was phenomenal and very interesting and very well done from Guitar World. Guitar World put out their list based on readers' votes of the top 10 guitar solo songs of 2021. Now, I assumed you have to judge the song based on the solo, not as a whole, the guitar in the song as a whole.
I had a difficult time doing that.
I did too.
Because
I really did.
We knew half of the songs.
Right, we knew half the songs, and some of the songs we know,
we
really didn't have long guitar solos in them. But overall, the songs are awesome in terms of the guitar playing from beginning to end.
Right. But this was a very mellow rock list.
Given what the day and age is,
you
and I grew up with harder rock.
Yeah.
You got to remember who we're dealing with now. The audience we're dealing with now.
I know, but still. I was kind of disappointed with the overall.
So let me run through this with you. And if you have not seen it yet, tough titties, because it's been out for 2 weeks. So that's your problem, not mine. It's not like I'm spoiling Spider-Man No Way Home for you, which I'm sure Dave wants to do.
In the worst possible way.
All right, number 1, Greta Van Fleet, Age of Machine.
We know this one. We appreciate the guitar work.
Solid.
It's one
very
solid,
good.
Can't go wrong.
Right. Now, would I put it number 1? Probably not. Top 10? Yes.
Yeah.
Number 2, blows my mind.
It sucked.
John Mayer, Last Train Home. I literally thought this was a song that got left off the soundtrack for Miami Vice.
I thought the
heavy synthesizers.
I thought that the start of it, I thought I was listening to an old Toto song.
Yes. And if you look at, I think he's deliberately trying to go retro with this album, because if you look at the album cover, as it will pop up on Spotify when you listen to it, he's got all these little things on the cover, like the Nice Price. Remember the old Nice Price sticker?
Yeah.
And it's got an actual, price gun sticker.
Over, yeah.
He's trying to say, look, this is retro, but wow, this is really retro.
Not good. I did not.
And as much as you hate Dave Matthews Band, when he starts singing, you must have been cringing. Oh my God,
I was dying.
He sounds like Dave Matthews' twin.
I hated this song so much.
This was not good. This was not good. Kids.
No, this
the guitar work. Nobody's going to dispute the fact that he's a decent guitar player,
but the overall product was just not good.
No. Now, number 3, of course, we all know.
Mr. Ed.
I'm loving this.
Mammoth WVH.
Yeah, this would
solid
probably
song.
Be one of my top 3.
Yeah.
So perfect here at number 3.
Yep.
I thought number 4, which is one I had not listened to before, and this is why I wanted us to go through this list, is to discover some new music.
Something new. Dinosaur Jr., I Met the Stones.
Loved it. This
was the surprise song.
Loved this song.
This was awesome. I enjoyed this.
Now, this not only meets the criteria of a great solo, but from beginning to end,
it's a great rock song.
Right. It's a little druggy. It's
a little bit,
but that's how Dinosaur Jr.'s been for. They've been around for 30 years.
Yeah. This
was my favorite
awesome.
of the ones we didn't already know.
Yes.
By far. Then, of course, Tremonti at number 5, Marching in Time. Loved it. Awesome.
Yep. We talked about this one before.
We reviewed this album. Cardinal Black at number 6. Tell Me How It Feels.
This was another surprise one that I really enjoyed.
I didn't like it as much as Dinosaur Jr., but it was still pretty interesting, especially the guitar work. The guitar work was really good on this.
It was.
So I can understand why it made the top 10. It almost sounded like a Blues Traveler type of vocal.
Yeah.
But
instead of the harmonica, you had the guitar.
Right. No, I did like this a lot. I did. Out of the 5 that we listened to on this list that we had not heard before, this would be my number 2 after Dinosaur Jr.
I would agree with that.
Then, of course, we get the underrated. I was so glad to see this list give Miles Kennedy his due. Twice. And technically, Tremonti at 5, has his ties.
Yeah.
Because Tremonti is the lead guitarist for Alter Bridge. Miles Kennedy gets thrust to the background in that band
because
he's the vocalist.
Yeah.
Nobody realizes how great of a guitarist Miles Kennedy is. Number 7, The Ides of March.
Let's
phenomenal.
That shine through.
Yes. Now, number 8, probably next to Mayer, my least favorite.
Yeah, I did not like this.
Flock of Dimes, The Price of Blue.
Nah.
The guitar was not bad, but
it
the
wasn't,
song
but the
itself.
song blew.
Yes.
I will put it slightly ahead of Last Train Home, though.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that. Now, number 9, nobody's going to rip on John Bonamassa. He is considered the latest, newest guitar legend.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Mind's Eye was really all that great of a song.
It wasn't.
I didn't even see, was there a solo in the song?
Not that I noticed, but this was just kind of okay. The guitar work was great, but the songs just eh.
And I've heard other stuff from him in the past, so I know he's better than this.
Yeah.
Mind's Eye is not his best work.
No, it's not.
And then, of course, at the rear of this list, which it should be higher up,
this should have led off.
I could see this at the top.
Yeah, River is Rising, Slash, and Miles Kennedy
with the Conspirators.
You can hear Slash going off and Miles there. The two of them together, unbelievable.
It's amazing how Miles Kennedy latches on to these great guitar players, and he's so good of it on his own, he can't shine outside of his own solo work because he's got Mark Tremonti and he's got Slash. Miles Kennedy is phenomenal, kids. You don't realize how great of a musician he is. Now, we're not going to rearrange this or redo it, but like Dave said, I think The River's Rising would be up in the top 5. The Dinosaur Jr. song is really good. Yeah. I would keep that at 4 probably. It's hard for me not to put Mr. Ed at number 1. It just is. I'm just so prejudiced.
Yes, I know you are.
But I would also love to see the Ides of March up there. But there's other songs not in this list that we could probably find.
Could have been put in.
Yeah.
But
now, since we are talking about Slash, Miles Kennedy, and the Conspirators, I think David owes us a review of Fill My World, the second single off of 4.
Oh, my God. This one, Fill My World, the whole lament to a lost love to please come back. All will be right in the world. I enjoyed it. I gave this one a 3. It was a nice follow-up to River is Rising. Kept that vibe going. Another enjoyable one. You didn't like it,
as
did
much.
You?
Nope. I mentioned this last week. I won't rant and rave about it. I just thought coming off The River is Rising, this was a big disappointment. I gave it 2.
There you go.
But again, I'm still looking forward to the album.
Yep. Now I also have Black Moods. She Gets Out. This one, I enjoyed the beat to it. The lyrics were solid on it. I enjoyed it. I gave this one a 3 as well.
I did too. Yeah. It's not. You and I know the Black Moods. We've seen them. We've listened to their first 3 albums. They can be better than that,
but they've also been less as well here and there.
So yeah, I think She Gets Out is a really good song.
Yeah,
really good song. Again, I expect more from them, but I'll take this.
Yep. And then had Tears for Fears, No Small Thing.
This one I am interested in because I know you did not like The Tipping Point.
I enjoyed this one more than The Tipping Point. And I actually went back and listened to Tipping Point again and have a better appreciation. It's still not all that, but I did enjoy No Small Thing. I'm actually going 2.5 on that one.
I gave it 3. Yes. And everybody
could grow on me.
Everybody that I've seen in terms of reviewing these releases steadfastly is admitting that No Small Thing is better than The Tipping Point. And I like The Tipping Point. I like the fact that these first 2 singles off of their upcoming album, they're not trying to be poppy. They're not trying to do anything other than
be who they are.
Right. And again, this album is about the death of Roland Orzabal's wife. So there's a lot of downbeat themes.
Yeah.
But No Small Thing I thought was great.
I enjoyed it.
Yep.
Definitely.
So next week, we are looking at a couple songs from Bryan Adams. We are looking at Kick Ass, and we are looking at On the Road, the second and third releases from his upcoming album.
Yep.
We're also going to review the second release off of John Mellencamp's upcoming album,
Chasing Rainbows, and Little Pretty, Steve Vai.
Yep. Some more guitar.
With our guitar
Some more
work
guitar
here.
for you. Actually, I might have another one to throw in here. Because if we're going to do guitar stuff, I know how much you love Tom Morello.
Tom Morello's really good.
There is a song. It's instrumental. Tom Morello, Alec Lifeson, and Kirk Hammett. Well, don't get too excited.
I was just saying that. I was just thinking
I know.
That's an odd combination.
That makes you really get. That makes you get some guitar chub going in your pants. No, but now the song itself is cool. I've listened to it. It's called "I Have Seen the Way." It's credited to all three though, so it goes Morello, Lifeson, Hammett.
Interesting.
So,
all right, I will be intrigued on that one.
So we'll go with a couple more guitar wizards for next week to keep with our theme.
There we go.
We do have a little bit of music news for you. Be fun to hear what the Conquistador thinks of this. Now
I try not to.
We talked about Motley Crue a couple weeks ago and how they sold their catalog for $150 million.
Right.
So let's start looking at this in terms of who got shorted, who got overpaid.
Are we talking about the boss?
Bruce Springsteen, not just the boss. Bruce Springsteen, though, did sell his music catalog for $500 million. That's $500 million.
That's
kids.
Overpaid.
Now the other one, which I think they got shorted. ZZ Top, $50 million.
That's it?
ZZ Top sold their music catalog for $50 million.
That's it.
Yeah.
Wow. They got shorted. They got shorted bad.
I agree with you. I think Springsteen needs to come down a little bit. You know, ZZ needs to come up a little bit.
Yeah. Wow.
How is ZZ not getting the same amount as Motley Crue?
That's bad.
But
there you go.
It is what it is, kids. And that wraps up segment 1 of the weekend edition. Music is done. So now we're going to have to talk about movies. And that means we're going to have discussions and issues and problems.
That we always do.
Because we've got a movie that Dave didn't even finish.
Couldn't do it.
I've got a movie that I should have watched years ago that I finally did. And I have to keep him quiet about Spider-Man so he doesn't ruin it for me.
And I have one that's probably about 15 years old that I stumbled upon, which is kind of relevant because of a popular show that's on now.
So stay tuned, kids. We will be right back. Hope you're enjoying your Christmas present known as the Sports Frenzy 2.0 Weekend Edition. We'll be right back. In the fortress of solitary justice, 2 brave men hold the fate of the sports world in their hands, with the utterance of a single word: Frenzy! These seemingly ordinary men become the Maestro and the Conquistador, destined to save the world from stupidity on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Apple, and all noble podcast hosts everywhere. Dave and Kev stand for truth, justice, and the frenzy way.
All right, kids, it's time to go to the lobby and get yourselves a treat for our movie reviews in this segment. I'm the Conquistador, Dave Height.
And the Maestro, Kevin Crane.
And I'm going to start off with Power of the Dog.
You didn't even finish it.
I didn't finish it. I got an hour into it. I couldn't do it. I tried to go back, got a little bit further. I just couldn't finish this one. It was so slow. The acting was not great. The characters were not likable. They just kind of, there was nothing outstanding about this at all.
You guys know I reviewed this last week. And while I finished it and I gave it a middling review, I guess you could say, better than Nomadland from last year, the Oscar winner from last year, and Year of the Dog or Power of the Dog. I don't know why I keep calling it Year of the Dog.
Because that was a better movie.
But Power of the Dog looks like it could be one of the top 2 or 3 frontrunners for movie of the year this year.
Please, no. God, no.
Cumberbatch looks like he could be a lead contender for Best Actor.
It was just not an enjoyable watch.
And I said the end redeems it to a point. But I also told Dave I do not give him any grief for not watching this.
So I've gotten to the point where
I can get that. I wish I had not watched all of Nomadland. So
see, I have gotten to the point where if I'm not enjoying something, I am not going to finish it just to finish it.
It's easier to do that with TV, though.
It is.
You get through 2 or 3 episodes of a crappy show,
this one,
and you bail.
I had to cut bait on this one. I just had no investment in this one at all for any reason. It was almost all over the place.
So you're saying that it's not going to make your top 5 movies of 2021
That
list?
is correct. I'll give this one a 1.
Well, you didn't finish it, so how can you rate it?
Easy, because it didn't hold my attention.
As I mentioned last week, I gave it 2. Again, the ending redeems it to some point, but that's kind of what you and I went through a couple months ago with that Jason Momoa crap on Netflix, where you finished it.
You bailed,
and I bailed,
finished it,
and you said the ending kind of redeemed it a little bit.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, review Spider-Man No Way Home in as vague of terms as humanly possible.
All right. We all know the multiverse is opened. Everything comes through. Has to try and correct it, put things right at any cost. Very well done. The way it's brought together on all fronts. Very poignant in many places.
Okay.
Where things come to a head, get resolved, and yeah, there's more to come in this storyline.
Well, they've already said they've got another trilogy they're working on.
Yeah, that definitely has opened up to let things roll.
And of course, the Doctor Strange trailer just dropped today.
Yeah,
I'm like, I can't watch this because I haven't seen No Way Home yet.
You've got the typical Marvel midway through the trailer, you get a little extra, and at the very end, after everything, it's not really a spoiler. It's the Doctor Strange trailer.
Okay.
So it was very good. I wouldn't say that it's the greatest Marvel movie like a lot of people are.
Okay.
But I will give it a solid 3.5.
That's still pretty high. That's still pretty high praise.
It was, yeah. For what they did and were accomplishing it with it, it exceeded my expectations. It is definitely worth watching.
And
it is not a disappointment.
Of course, it scored the second biggest opening domestically of all time, $260.1 million, which is unbelievable considering the COVID restrictions in a lot of places.
Yeah, and here we went on this is dropping the 25th, Christmas Day. We're recording here the 22nd. The family and I went on the 21st, a Tuesday night, and the theater was packed.
Yep. And again, I don't know. I am one of those people that's still hesitant to go to theaters. I don't know. Not just because of COVID, but because I hate people.
If you can get a morning show when
yeah, that's
nobody's
the
there
thing.
during the
A
week,
morning
go
show
for
would
it.
probably work for me, just because I can't stand crowds when it comes to theaters. I'd
Yeah.
rather watch a movie in the comfort of my own home.
There you go.
But yeah, this one I'm trying to figure out a way to get out and go see, so the spoilers do not destroy my faith in humanity.
There you go.
But I do know some of the rumors. We've talked about the rumors that were involved
Right.
for the last year about what could be happening. If you've seen one of the posters, you kind of know to a certain point what's going on.
Yeah. It's the multiverse. Everything's on the table.
And of course, now I'm hearing today about Hawkeye wrapping up on Disney Plus, and they're saying there are spoilers and there you got to avoid. So at least that I can go tomorrow, finish it up, get that out of the way.
Yeah.
I've already seen Black Widow. I know there's a tie-in with Black Widow and Hawkeye. Just so much stuff. Much stuff.
Marvel interweaves everything to such a degree.
Yeah.
That you have to almost see everything to.
Well, that's the thing, is that we've talked about Black Widow and Shang-Chi and the Eternals. I think this is why the crowds were dying to see. Not a COVID joke.
No.
Not a morbid COVID joke.
No.
But this was the biggest release of the last 2.5 years.
Because Sony went back to what Marvel Studios had done.
And they have that agreement.
So long, and with their agreement, Sony carried through beautifully.
Better than Marvel.
Yeah. They carried it through where Disney took over Marvel and skewed the other stuff. This stayed true to what Marvel had begun.
So it'll be interesting to see how Doctor Strange comes out in Madness in the Multiverse, because that one's a Disney one.
Yeah, that. We'll see.
Black Widow didn't really connect. That was a prequel.
Yeah.
Didn't connect to anything that was going on beforehand. Shang-Chi barely does. I haven't seen the Eternals. I don't want to. I will end up watching it next month when it comes on Disney Plus, but I can't see how that ties into anything. They do say there is a reference in there to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Who cares?
But yeah, Spider-Man was the one that everybody been waiting for, because they kind of knew this was the one that was going to go back to the old Avengers, Infinity War, Endgame universe.
It did not disappoint, kids.
So if Dave was happy with Spider-Man, I have to disappoint him.
Oh, no.
I have to be Debbie Downer. Wah, wah. I am really sorry about this, too, because this sucks. This sucks donkey balls. This is awful for us, for the boys, because I know how big of fans they are of John Wick. John Wick 4 has been pushed back almost a full year.
Oh, for the love of God and all that.
They were so scared to death because they were slated on the same day, Memorial Day 2022, as Top Gun Maverick. They backed off. They pushed it all the way back to March the 24th of 2023.
That's bullshit. John Wick would have kicked the shit out of Top Gun 2. Without a doubt, John Wick would have been so much better.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the language. No, not really. It's a pussy move. It's a pussy move.
It is.
Why would you move it back almost a full year?
That's ridiculous. Why didn't you put it 4th of July weekend?
The thing that worries me the most about this move is that now you're going to kill the momentum of the franchise.
Yeah, because it's...
I mean, you're looking at, 4 years from Chapter 3 to Chapter 4?
Approaching that, yeah.
That's too much.
That's way too long.
We've talked about rock bands who wait too long to put out albums.
Yep. They missed the boat.
Same thing with movies. You can't wait.
They're killing the franchise. You should have.
You can't use the pandemic as an excuse anymore.
Why do
Spider-Man just proved that.
You should not have to wait for a holiday weekend with this one. This one,
well, they moved it to a non-holiday weekend.
know.
That's the thing.
That
It's
was
stupid.
ridiculous. Why didn't you move it up? Why didn't you move it back by
4th of
2
July.
weeks?
Was a Marvel probably got something there?
Who cares? Move it in between. Pick a weekend.
End
Guess
of July?
what? I have no desire to see Top Gun 2 in the theater.
I agree with you. I personally agree with you.
I would go see John Wick 4 in the theater. I will not go see Top Gun 2 in the theater.
Yeah, I think people are overrating the nostalgia factor when it comes to Top Gun. I do like what I've seen from the previews of the new Ghostbusters. Did you see how well it did at the box office? It's going to end up doing about the same as the one before with all the women that everybody hated.
And
the
you know
female
what?
reboot. So what's that tell you? The 80s nostalgia thing ain't working anymore.
I wanted to see the new Ghostbusters, but I wasn't going out of my way to see it in the theater.
Yeah, and I'll see it. And I'm glad it's doing relatively well, but it's not doing any better than the widely ridiculed all-female reboot.
Right.
So what does that tell you? I agree with you. John Wick 4 would be more relevant to the current movie market. I think people are going to be wildly disappointed with how well Top Gun Maverick does.
I think they're going to be disappointed with the movie overall.
It's not Mission Impossible 7. I'll be there for Mission Impossible 7. That's where Tom Cruise should be focusing his energy.
There you go.
Sticking himself on the wings of biplanes. Doing the greatest stunts of all time. All right. The third in the series of the Kingsman movies is coming out today as we tape on the 22nd.
My boys have seen it tonight as we tape.
The King's Man.
The King's Man is the third. The prequel.
Yes, and we had a pact. We had a pact!
I called my boys out on it and said, we'll go see it again.
Yes, we were all supposed to go see this. I had been ridiculed, debased, degraded for the last year and a half because I admitted I had never seen the first two. And I told them, I said, eventually, when we get to the point where this movie's coming out, I will catch up.
You have to suspend disbelief with a lot of it.
I don't think that's my problem with it. Now, I watched the first one this past week, so I am giving you a review of the first, The Kingsman, The Secret Service. I'm working on The Golden Circle. We'll have that for you next week. Here is my problem, and I went back and forth on this review. I didn't want to give it a negative review, so I ended up giving it a week 2.5 frenzies. And let me explain why. Number one, Taron Egerton has no charisma. None. I'm sorry, he doesn't have any charisma. I saw him in Rocket Man. He just doesn't do it for me as a lead actor. Very bland, very ordinary.
I'll give you that.
Colin Firth was a lot more engaging as his mentor.
Agreed.
The other problem I had with it was it felt almost like this is my worst nightmare when it comes to movies. If you let Quentin Tarantino do a Bond movie, that's what the Kingsman Secret Service felt like to me because of the over-the-top violence, the over-the-top villains. I mean, it was more than just a Bond riff, because that's what it is. Yeah, it's a Bond riff.
It is.
It's not just James Bond. You get to see all the different agents involved, the handlers, the mentors, but it's basically a riff on James Bond. And I know it's a graphic novel series. That's fine. But some of the stuff, I was like, Jesus God, am I watching Kill Bill 1 again? That church scene. Yeah, I admired the choreography. And you got Leonard Skinner's Freebird blaring, and it's just the music they use in a lot of these scenes. Casey and the Sunshine Band at the climax is awesome. It's awesome. But
It is a bit over
Two
the
and a
top.
half or 3 minutes of just killing, blood and guts, dismembering, spiking, shooting.
It's the 88 all over again. Or was it the 99?
Yeah, you get what I'm saying
Yeah.
with Kill Bill. It's just too much. It's just at points too much. A lot of the stuff I admired about the Kingsman. There's some really clever things in it. But, and again, at the end, and I know it carries over into the second one. Come on, with the whole princess thing. Come on. That is so cheesy and so stupid. And even on Sports Frenzy,
you would have appreciated that part of it.
On a personal level, I do. Especially when she admits she will grant his request. But I'm like, come on. Come on. It's too much. It's too much. It's just
then you're
going
to hate the second one.
I have delved into the second one. So far, it's about what I expected. You know,
there's going to get to be an even more.
Well, I know we've talked about one scene in particular.
Yes.
Which I know is coming. But I've already gotten to the point in the Golden Circle where Julianne Moore is making very special hamburgers. Let's put it that way. And I'm like, here we go again. Was it Matthew Vaughn as the director? He has no restraint.
No,
I mean, come on.
He doesn't.
Come on.
There's no filter with it.
It's too much. I love blood and guts and violence, but there's got to be a purpose. What is the point? And again, I'm jumping ahead to the second movie. What's the point of making a hamburger out of a human being? Unless you're a cannibal. I mean, seriously, it's too much. The church scene in the first one is too much. Restraint sometimes is better.
Just go with
the princess, not going balls to the freaking wall with the secret agent who saves her. Balls to some area is too much. It's too much. Again, there's a lot I admire about it. I like Colin Firth. He's really cool. Mark Strong is really good. It's obviously, again, parallel to James Bond.
Of course.
So again, I'm giving it 2.5. I initially was going to go 2.
Yeah.
And I actually watched it a second time. So I've already watched it twice.
Because you hated it so much.
I was like, what am I missing? I have got to find out what I'm missing here. Why does everybody love this so much? And I
just turn your mind off and watch the thrill ride.
The thing is, I've already seen snippets of things, not even that I've watched yet in the second one. Elton John's in the second one. Are you fucking kidding me? How could you have any more of a connection between Taron Egerton, who plays Elton John in Rocket Man,
years later?
Oh my God!
Just go with it.
Oh no. 2.5. I will watch the second one. I did like Julianne Moore's weird perversity. I did like the fact she set up her own little world.
Yeah, down in the jungle.
Yes, that was cool. That I loved. That I was like, I'm on board with that. And then she goes too far with the meat grinder.
Well, yeah, because she's nuts.
But again, she's not even, it's not a Bond villain. It's over the top. It's too much. Samuel Jackson with a lisp is not a Bond villain, okay? And he was not good. I'm sorry, he was not good.
No, he was not. He was not a good villain.
And then they have to go overboard with the chick with the razor legs and
well, yeah.
Just right away, within
things.
10 minutes of the start of the movie, they got to go too far with that. She could have been so much cooler if you'd had a director with some restraint. Sorry.
There you go.
2.5.
All right. I stumbled upon a 2005 movie, Mrs. Henderson Presents. Why, Conquistador, are you going back that far? I'll tell you why. Because it starred one of the co-stars is Kelly Riley, who is in Yellowstone, featured prominently as the daughter of Kevin Costner's character. So this one,
Who is very free with her body in
yes,
Yellowstone.
she is, and it all starts here. So Mrs. Henderson presents as Dame Judi Dench, not long after she becomes a widow, very wealthy, on a whim for something to do, buys an old rundown theater, the Windmill, and sinks money into it to refurbish it. She hires Bob Hoskins' character to create a review to make everything come alive. And as things are rolling, they do like a 24-hour nonstop review, which catches on all over. This is like 30s England. Things are going well until everybody's doing the same thing and they tank. And so her brilliant idea is an all nude review. And so she goes to the Chancellor, Christopher Guest, to promote her idea. They can be nude, but it has to be in the way of art. So the girls on stage who are naked have to stand still with all the singing and everything else going on. It's funny, it's dramatic. They try and keep it going through the bombing of London during World War II. Very well done. I give this one a solid 3. And yes, Kelly Riley does bear all in this, as she does in Yellowstone.
Now, how long ago was this?
2005.
Wow, 16 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's just something that I stumbled upon.
How old is she in that?
Very young.
See, now we're going into areas we should not, David.
She's early 20s.
Okay.
So kind of probably one of her first roles. But very entertaining, funny. The back and forth banter between Dench and Hoskins' characters is wonderful.
Very cool. I will have a review coming up. I don't want to promise next week because I do want to finish up The Golden Circle.
Yeah.
But I am looking forward to this one. This director, Dave and I have issues with. We don't agree. We don't see eye to eye. I always look forward to his movies because I appreciate the creativity and the twist that's always involved. So within the next 2 weeks, I will have a review of M. Night Shyamalan's Old.
I am not opposed to M. Night Shyamalan.
I didn't think you liked him that much.
I do. There were a couple things that I thought he should not have done, but overall, I appreciate.
Well, The Last Airbender, but that's not even in his.
No, but normal... I do appreciate how he does the little twists and different things. Yeah, I do like his
sometimes
stuff.
They fail miserably, but a lot of times
he's on more often than he's off.
Yes.
And I do appreciate his films. I do enjoy them.
All right. I misread that. So I will have a review of that coming up. And hopefully
I'm still waiting for the Unbreakable sequel.
Glass?
Oh, no, wait. We did get that. No, I knew we got Glass, but I'm waiting for the other character to come back.
We'll see. I don't know if he's going to go through with that. We'll see. But yeah, Glass, of course, brought in, and I still have not seen Glass.
I have not either.
Glass brings in the two main characters from Unbreakable, and then, of course, McAvoy from Split.
Right.
What Split I am torn on. Split I liked, but I thought it was going to be much better than it ended up being. But yeah, Shyamalan, The Visit, I think, is vastly underrated. That's creepy shit.
Yeah.
And I think that was the one movie that kind of helped boost him back up again. You know, The Sixth Sense, to me, The Sixth Sense was one of his worst movies. Because, I watched that and I was like, okay, 2+ hours, and he's dead. He's dead.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it did not move well.
Yippee Skippy.
The others of his moved at a very nice pace.
Signs was okay with Mel Gibson.
It got a little cheesy here and there.
I did like The Village more than most people did.
The Village, I really enjoyed.
The twist on that one
The twist on The
out.
Village was funky as all get out.
Yeah, that freaked me out. So yeah, I'm a big fan of his because, if you can every other movie fool me and freak me out a little bit, I'm
good
cool
for
with
you.
it. So I'll have that coming up. And of course, in our next segment, I'm going to let the Conquistador take over for the most part because he has got a review of a new TV show. He has got a review of Clive and Dirk Kussler's latest Dirk Pitt novel.
Yep.
I will delve into why the hell I freaking watched The Day of the Dead on Sci-Fi Channel as the season of that wrapped up. A couple really despicable men in television this past week, we found out.
Yep. We'll hit on that.
And a couple dumbasses and a couple moments of silence. So
stay tuned.
Be right back.
In a world of politically correct sports coverage, two individuals stand alone as the last bastion of sanity. The Maestro and the Conquistador star in Sports Frenzy 2.0, the podcast.
Available on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, and Castbox.
Merry Christmas, all you sports frenzians out there. I'm the Conquistador Dave Height.
Along with the Maestro, Kevin Crane. And ho, ho, ho!
Stop calling them that.
Isn't that a Steel Panther song?
Probably. The recording here on the 22nd of December. This airs Christmas morning. Hope everyone enjoys time with family and friends. Here in our third segment, our TV streaming news, book review, moments of silence, dumbasses. We've got it all for you. So I'm going to start off recapping Bosch on Prime. 7 seasons based on Michael Connelly's books. Very well done. We've kind of talked about it here and there. I said this was the final season. Wow. They went all out with this one. Very fitting end to the series. I have been happy with how they brought the character to life with Titus Welliver.
Love him. Love him.
He is so good. They started off with a couple of the cases from the books, and then they've done kind of their own thing with it. I could not have been happier for a series being brought to life. It was well done, kind of like we enjoyed Hap and Leonard so much when that had been done. This, along the same lines, not disappointing.
I don't want to cut you off. I want to feed into what you're talking about. Hap and Leonard, you mentioned that, and then you bring me in. And then Reacher coming up, I think, is a very good comparison as well, because when you say with Bosch, they started off with the Connolly stories and then they went off on their own, I think that is so cool. And I'm kind of hoping that maybe they didn't do that with Hap and Leonard. Hap and Leonard, all the stuff was based on
the books.
Lansdale's books. I wouldn't have a problem if after a few books they take Reacher off. If they write them well, some original stories would be cool.
That would be very good. If it's done well, I am all in, as long as the characters are represented and done well. So, and Bosch, you cannot go wrong with. So,
and Amazon seems to really, I have had a problem with Amazon Prime in terms of content. I think their content is really limited, but when they commit to something like Bosch, The Boys, which I still have got to watch, Reach are now coming up.
Yep.
They do it well.
Yes, they do. Speaking of the boys, that's next on the list for my boys and I, since we finished Doom Patrol season.
Okay, well,
I
I'm
will wait.
going to start
I will.
finishing up season 3 next week.
Okay, I will hold off on Doom Patrol until you are done.
Now, you can review the first 2 seasons. I've
We've
already
done
watched
that.
those. But yeah, season 3, I ditched HBO Max for just a couple months. I plan on getting it back here, watch The Matrix Resurrections, finish up Doom Patrol, get into Peacemaker. So
there we go.
Yes, no, that definitely is on the agenda.
So with Doom Patrol wrapped up, we will be getting into the boys. But my 2 have turned me on to something new on Netflix. Animated series, Inside Job. This is about the company Cognito Inc., which is owned by the shadow underworld that controls everything that happens in politics and business. And these are the conspiracy people. You hear all the theories. This is the company that makes it all happen. From RoboPotus to all the oh god, it's just crazy. The replicants, the Lee Harvey Oswald actual shooter, they cover it all. It's funny, it's wrong, the language is rough. You have a mushroom person.
Okay, you had me until mushroom person. I was really
It works.
into it until then.
Go with it. You got the aliens everywhere. So it's entertaining.
I might have to check this out. Now, but the problem is,
I don't know if you will like it as much as I do.
Okay.
But at least give it a shot. I'm 4 episodes in, and I think they said it's like 12 episodes or a half hour.
You said it's on Netflix?
It's on Netflix.
Okay. And we also, I think the fact that if you guys are going to start watching The Boys, that will push me to watch it, because I've already watched the first episode, but that was a year ago. And I already know it's dark, it's disturbing, but it's so good. So, we got Jensen Ackles coming up here. So maybe we'll make that pact that we'll start watching. Now, you guys will still finish it before I will, but it shouldn't take me too long to catch up and finish it up so we can review it together.
Yeah. Now, we haven't started it yet. So
did you give an actual review to Bosch now that it's done?
Overall, I'm giving the overall 7 seasons a 3.5. Well acted, well written, good flow. So good. I'm going to miss this one.
We've been doing this now for what, about 9 months, 9.5 months? Have we given that many 4 frenzies to anything?
Not really.
I think maybe I think I gave 4 to Mammoth. I might have given 4 to Mammoth WVH on the music side. I don't know if I've given 4 to any movie, though, or any TV show.
I don't think so yet. I'd have to go back through.
Because, of course, we don't delve into the past unless it fits into story time.
That's right.
So, interesting. I thought maybe you'd go 4. I really didn't.
It was really close, but there were a couple little things here and there that kept me from really pushing it.
Right.
But the overall
4 should be sacred ground. 4 should be the best of the best
of the best.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why, kids, 3.5. If you get 3.5 from us, that's pretty damn good. Yeah. So I will check out Inside Job. We will check out The Boys together. I know a lot of you out there going, you haven't watched The Boys yet? What's wrong with you guys?
We have lives and other things going on.
Yes, children to care for, houses to tend to, jobs sometimes. But now Dave gets to talk about what I briefly hinted on last week, the season 3 finale of our favorite comedy. Well, one of our favorite comedies.
Yes, Tacoma FD, Fire at the Fire Station. Kids, ignore all these stupid ass TikTok challenges. They never work well.
And never leave your prized possessions at work.
Ever. Oh my God. Again, Tacoma did not disappoint.
This was a big shakeup, though, at the end. We know it's coming back for season 4, but this is a big shakeup.
This is a huge cliffhanger type situation.
Yes, we had people throwing curse words and storming out and saying, I'm
quitting,
done with you,
being fired,
quitting, taking new jobs.
Yeah.
Arr.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens when they return.
Yes. And I do hope, because, what the hell else has True TV got?
Nothing.
Just keep Tacoma going, That's all we got with Broken Lizard right now.
Would it kill them to bring a Super Troopers to run counter to Tacoma FD?
Well, you got Reno came back now. Reno 911 just came back. So
that was always hit and miss, though.
I know, but same type of thing.
Yeah,
maybe Slammin' Salmon.
Bring the restaurant back.
Now, I heard a funny story. I'm sorry, this is going to be one of my famous tangents, because I love Beer Fest. Again,
who hasn't loved Beer Fest?
One of the great, if not the greatest, Broken Lizard movies of all time. I heard Boomer Esiason talking the other day about once he was in Germany, and he was talking about having to drink out of the boot. And all I could think of was Das Boot.
Turn.
in Beer Fest.
Beer Fest.
It would be
good.
tough. It would be tough between. I just have some kind of an attachment to Slammin' Salmon. I just think that movie's underrated. It
did not get the credit that it deserved.
But Beer Fest, boy, that's hard to beat.
Yeah,
you can have Super Troopers. Super Troopers is okay.
But Beer Fest was probably
Club
their
Dread
pinnacle.
was okay.
Club Dread was decent.
Yeah. But give us our Broken Lizard.
That's right. All right.
I guess it's time for me to talk about my stupid, guilty pleasure of this past TV season.
Yep.
Have you guys ever watched a show? I'm not going to talk about movies. Obviously, Dave and I just talked about The Power of the Dog, and he bailed on it, and that's fine. And there's many times when I should have bailed on movies that I didn't. 20 minutes in, 30 minutes in, and I should have said, oh, this is it. I can't. And I have to be a completist.
No.
I have to finish it.
It's okay to
and
not
2 hours
finish.
later,
I'm
like, what? Yeah, I feel like a cheap hooker after an 8-way gangbang. And I only got $40. That's kind of how I felt as I wrapped up season 1 of Day of the Dead on Sci-Fi.
Wow.
It was like sitting there with a huge freaking bowl of Snickers bars. And you tell yourself, it's not good for you to eat all these. One at a time, one a day. And you sit there and go, you finish the first one, you go, oh, I'll eat another one. Oh, I'll eat another one. And the next thing you know, your stomach is distended. The bowl is empty.
And you're miserable.
And you're sitting there going, I'm going to be on the toilet all day tomorrow. I never should have done that. That's how I felt as season 1 of Day of the Dead wrapped up. I sat there thinking,
God.
Why did I subject myself? My daughter walked in on one of the episodes early on, and she listened to it for like 30 seconds and said, why are you watching this crap? And I'm trying to explain to her, well, it's tied into the George Romero Night of the Living Dead legacy.
Who cares? If it's not well done, bail.
I watched the whole first season.
And you're going to subject yourself to season
No,
2.
I don't think I will.
Yes,
no, I will.
you
I
will.
actually believe that I will have the willpower to not, if they do a second season, and they did leave, of course, cliffhangers and doors open. No, I won't do that to myself. No, I will not. No. This was not good. And when I went to do research on this, number one, I said to myself, why? Why do you care who the cast members are? They all sucked. They were all terrible.
Because subliminally you wanted to know who not to watch in the future.
And then you go to IMDb, and I don't necessarily care about ratings. 4.1. That's unbelievably low. 4.1 out of 10
Oof.
is what the aggregate score on IMDb is for Day of the Dead.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Note to self, avoid Day of the Dead at all costs.
Yes, there are a couple nice, gruesome scenes, of course, you expect with a zombie movie that are okay. And there's one little plot twist that was kind of interesting. But the acting is bad. People are stupid, just like a bad horror movie. 1.5 frenzies. And I can't believe I watched the entire season.
Wow, you gave it that much.
Yeah, I'll give it 1. There had to be some reason why I watched it. There had to be.
You're a glutton for punishment.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
all right.
we got a couple Hollywood idiots.
I've got my book first.
Well, let's finish up the entertainment stuff, and then we do the book.
All right.
Because these aren't dumbasses. I mean, this goes beyond being a dumbass. This is just
being a fuckhead.
Yeah.
An egocentric, insensitive, entitled douchebaggery.
Yeah, we got to call out Chris Noth and Jeff Garland. Again, this goes beyond being a dumbass, so that's why we're not saving them from the end.
No, this is just pure douchebaggery.
Yeah, especially Chris Noth, which is sad because I liked him a lot in Law and Order. I don't care about Sex in the City and him being Mr. Big and him getting killed off, and
nobody really cared that much.
But now he's being accused of sexual assault on multiple fronts. And of course, we do not condone this. And now Jeff Garland, and I love the Goldbergs. On this front, I will express utter and complete disappointment that the Goldbergs are losing the father. I could tell something was off with him, though, this year. Because in every episode, he literally looks unkempt. He usually, he's the lazy dad who comes home, drops his pants, sits in his lazy boy chair. But he wasn't bothering to shave for the first time in 9 seasons. It's something, he just acted like he didn't care anymore. And now all these stories are coming out where he was verbally abusing people on the set.
Not cool.
What I will say before we go on to the book review with Dave is that these two guys need to be called out for being idiots. But I will also say, don't tell me there aren't women, there aren't gay people out there who don't do the same thing, who don't sexually abuse,
Kevin
assault.
Spacey's already been, but he's coming back.
Where are the women? Don't tell me there is no woman out there who has never pulled crap like this. Don't tell me that. I'm getting tired of the whole women never do anything wrong stuff. These guys are wrong. These guys should get the punishment they deserve for doing what they did. But don't tell me that women never pull crap like this. Intimidation tactics.
It goes
Don't tell me they don't.
Both ways.
And until I see the other side of this, until I see women, minorities, gay people getting called out for the same type of misconduct, then I will take this I will say punish these guys, but show me across the spectrum
that
all
everything is
these
being
people.
taken seriously.
Exactly. Now, that being said, now we're done. TV and streaming. I'm sorry for the Conquistador. I didn't mean to cut him off.
You're fine.
Because I do want to hear. I used to read Clive Cussler religiously, so I do want to hear his review of the new Cussler book.
Yep. Clive Cussler's The Devil's Sea. Clive, of course, passed away in 2020. And for the last several Dirk Pitt books, Clive has been writing with his son Dirk Cussler to pass the mantle. And this really is Dirk's first full go without his father co-writing. I was impressed. It fit the typical Dirk Pitt storyline. Rogue Chinese army group mixed in with missing Tibetan artifacts, high-tech missiles, and a device that can generate tsunamis.
Yeah, that sounds like a typical Dirk Pitt novel.
It was. And of course, it had originally been Dirk Pitt and his buddy Al were going to kind of be placed second fiddle to Dirk's twins, Dirk and Summer. It's more 50-50 because Dirk and Al still do their thing, and then Summer and Dirk Jr. have their own thing, and the storylines do merge and meld together, but they're two separate adventures. So you still have what you would expect from Dirk and Al carrying things through. So they are what they are. This one I'll give 2.5.
Yeah, it's a shame. We talked in the past about how Hollywood handles some of these properties that we love in terms of books, how they've done decent jobs in some respects. Like Reacher finally looks like they probably got that right. I do like the Tom Cruise ones where you think they're blasphemy.
Yep.
Spencer books. I liked the original Spencer for Hire series.
Right.
And it's kind of gone downhill from there. And Cussler, he was always difficult. My understanding is he was always difficult because he protected his work so much.
Well, yeah, he wanted them done correctly.
Right. He did not like Raise the Titanic at
No,
all.
and I would agree, having read the book years after seeing the movie, I can see why he was pissed off with it.
Now, I thought Sahara was good. I thought McConaughey played Dirk Pitt fairly well, but Steve Zahn was not Al Giordino.
No. They made that way too campy.
Yes.
It was way too campy of a movie.
Yes.
With Rainn Wilson as Rudy Gunn did not work well.
Yeah. So
they did nail Macy as Sandecker, though.
Yeah, I did like him. But again, I understand it. We've always talked about how Jonathan Kellerman, we've never seen him ever give up the rights to Alex Delaware.
The way Bosch was done on Prime, if Kellerman can reach a deal with Amazon to bring that,
and maybe I think
it could be done
I
well.
hate to keep going back to Reacher, but if these authors see a positive response with Reacher, maybe they will.
Maybe
they will.
Because there's a wealth of storylines, original storylines.
Oh, Archie McNally. Could you see? Oh, that'd
going
be awesome
back
to see.
To retro stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
Travis McGee.
So many good characters out there that could be done well.
Yeah.
But Hollywood doesn't have a clue how to do things right or be original.
Right. And when we say original, we're fine with somebody taking a book that's never been done and making that into a movie or a TV show.
Yeah.
That to us would be original.
We don't need 3 or 4 versions of the Maltese Falcon or
Law and Order 27.
Right.
Or NCIS 14. NCIS, Tacoma,
NCIS, NCIS New Orleans, NCIS Hawaii, NCIS Los Angeles, blah, 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 and on and on.
That's what we're saying we don't want any more of. And we,
Yeah.
Before we get into the red form and dumbasses, more things that we don't want any more of. I would like to point out a couple moments of silence. Wanda Young of the Marvelettes passed away.
One of the original girl super groups.
Yeah, R&B. Yep. And now this one threw me for a loop. Ron Anderson. You're going, who's Ron Anderson? Ron Anderson was one of the greatest, if not the greatest, vocal coach to stars in rock and roll and pop ever. I'm going to give you a short list just of the singers that we would care about, of who he was close to and who he worked with. Axl Rose, Tom Kiefer, Chris Cornell, Ozzy Osbourne, Miles Kennedy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a list.
That's why I needed to note this guy. I needed to note Ron Anderson in our moments of silence, because if he helped all these guys out, and it sounds like Axl Rose and he got along great. And
Axl doesn't get along with anybody.
Yeah, I was going to say, if he got along great with Axl Rose, and after he passed, Axl was just praising him up and down. Wow. Moving on to our dumb asses of the week. I know normally we play dumbass or not, but with sports this past week on our regular sports frenzy, now this week, I think these two are pretty self-explanatory. So we'll have to save that for another day, kids. All right, Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves is the man who is directing the new The Batman movie. And Dave and I have already expressed our trepidation about what to expect with Robert Pattinson as the Caped Crusader, let alone Paul Dano as the Riddler.
Yeah, I again saw another trailer before Spider-Man. It's not doing it for me.
Well, here's something that I wish Matt Reeves would have kept to himself, because this ain't going to make you like it anymore. Matt Reeves, in a recent interview, said he modeled his version of Batman, aka Robert Pattinson, after Kurt Cobain.
Oh, God.
What
in God's green earth would make you even contemplate that?
Of all the people, of all the role models you could have said to juxtapose with Batman, you pick Kurt Cobain.
What drug
and again,
did you take to fuel your addled mind?
I never, and you are with me on this, I have never understood the fascination with Kurt Cobain. What possibly can people get out of Kurt Cobain positively in their lives?
Nothing.
Whiny, grunge bag, killed himself, too weak, let his wife dominate him. Sorry, that's the first 5 things I think of when I think of Kurt Cobain. That's not Batman.
No.
That's not Batman.
It's not. Oh my God, that's pathetic.
Dumbass. Great job. Way to promote your movie, Matt Reeves. And New York City.
Always.
Now, we only got a couple minutes left. This could be a debate we have to carry on for another day. My daughter disagreed with me on this. I think this is going way too far with accommodating people. New York City is trying to pass a bill called Intro 2020, where they are going to require 25% of all movie theater showings to have open captioning, not closed captioning. You will be required to see it on the screen, whether you have a device or not. 25% of all movie screenings will have to have open captioning.
No.
Last time I checked, 25% of the population is not deaf. That's too much. That is way too much. That is too much of an infringement on people who do not have hearing disabilities. And I know there's people who do not have who like to see captioning. But now, of course, in the land of COVID, it's too dangerous to give people these closed captioning devices, because passing it along from one people to, so now we're just going to go ahead and just force the captions on everybody.
Where's the app to have it on the phone?
That makes sense, doesn't it?
Wouldn't that be the bright
that makes
idea?
sense. Yeah. Since everybody's required in life now to have a goddamn smartphone,
and when you
and to have an
purchase
app,
your ticket,
you can't go to a concert without a smartphone.
To sync it up.
Boy, that would make a lot of sense, Dave. That would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? Instead of just forcing it on everybody.
Yeah, you have your own personal devices. Boom. There you go.
Speaking of which, boom, Merry Christmas. I'm the maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the Conquistador, Dave Height.
We hope you guys have a great holiday. We will check you out before New Year's. Take care of yourselves. We love you.